Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Dhami with your 13 Now update, joined by Chief Meteorologist Paul Cayano. As right now, Paul, you're tracking some weather warnings that are just coming in.
Yeah, we knew that this particular system would miss us to the south, but some of the northern fringe of it actually getting into our area. So there's a severe thunderstorm warning, Sabrina, for northernmost Greene County and just over the border into southern and easternmost Albany County, close to the Hudson River. And you can see the shot right here on the CDPHP first warning cam. A lot of dark sky showing up from the Catskill area looking north right up Main Street. And this is right up along the Hudson River. When you get into Greene and Albany County, that's where the storm is. Sort of see a little bit of definition on the left side of this picture here. Otherwise, just a dark sky. So here's the map with the warning on it. You can see the box straddling Greene and Albany counties. It's in effect until 2:45. Here's the radar. I noticed some thunder and lightning here. Not a lot of coverage locally. Excuse me as I look off because I'm going to manipulate this map so we can get a better and closer view of this. It's actually in a couple of different cells. One just over Greene County, the Greene County line into Albany County with some thunder and lightning, and another cell that's entirely in Greene County right along 32 and 81. If you're in Albany County, it's along 143. 60-mile-per-hour winds, quarter-size hail. In fact, let's check on the hail, and you could see that little purple shade there. So right in the middle, we have the potential for some quarter-size hail right up along 143. This particular storm is moving to the northeast at 15 miles per hour. So what Delmar, perhaps Bell, over toward Bethlehem and Selkirk, right along the New York State Thruway, just south of Albany, could be impacted by some heavy rain, frequent lightning, and some ponding of water on area roadways, not to mention some wind gusts. If this thing holds together, which is going to have a difficult time doing for too much longer, we could see this enter into the southern reaches of the suburbs of Albany around 443 and perhaps out toward New Scotland and Westerlo, and eventually maybe even over into the, let's say, the Voorheesville area if it gets far enough to the north. All right. So this particular cell is the only show in town right now. We have a little bit of rain in Columbia County, Sabrina. Otherwise, a warm and muggy day. Temperatures are in the 80s. And it looks like we'll have a quiet day tomorrow, and then you'll want to tune in at 4 o'clock. Also, we're going to have more coverage on the potential for some more storms on Thursday. We've already declared it an alert day as things are lining up that it could be an interesting day in terms of severe weather around here. So this is just a little bit of a preview. It's been an active weather pattern, as you know, so this is not surprising that we have more severe weather to talk about.
Unfortunately, right. You were just on the air on News Channel 13 a short time ago with details of this warning, Paul. So any more warnings that may pop up, we'll, of course, have updates that we'll get to our viewers in various ways.
Absolutely. We're all over it. We're on our app, the First Warning Weather app, online, of course, social media, and right here at Live at 4.
All right. Great. Paul, thank you very much for giving us that update. We'll see you live at 4 with the very latest on the forecast.
Okay.
We're following some breaking news. A 17-year-old is facing charges in connection with a homicide in Albany from this past weekend. The name of the teenager who's under arrest is not being released because of his age. The teenager is accused of shooting a 21-year-old named Naheem Burbridge. Burbridge was shot near Morton Avenue and Elizabeth Street Saturday evening in Albany around 7:15. And police say at this time it appears the shooting stemmed from an ongoing dispute between the victim and the suspect. Meantime, another homicide in Albany remains unsolved. It happened at a barbershop in the city, and the owner of that shop is now stepping up to help out. My colleague Taniqua Penix is here in the 13 Now studio. Tia, you went back to that barbershop today.
That's right, Sabrina. I spoke with the owner, Reginald Graham. Now, this shooting happened May 13th, and at the time, it was one of 5 shootings that weekend. So the city, as you just mentioned, a homicide that happened this past weekend, the city is plagued with these shootings. But when I spoke to the owner, he tells me that his barbershop has always been considered a safe haven. It's a spot that a lot of people, even children, go just to hang out. And his grandson, thankfully, survived, but he was also in the barbershop during that shooting. He was grazed by the bullet, and he was telling me he now has a keloid on his back that serves as a constant reminder of that tragic day. So obviously, as a business owner, as a grandfather, as just a community member, he was very touched and troubled by the shooting that happened and the homicide. That was not only his employee, it was a friend of his. So now he's trying to, think of ways, what can they do to stop this? Obviously, that's, the $1 million question. How can you stop gun violence? But in our conversation, he says it starts with, number one, forgiving. I was moved by the fact that he tells me that he saw the shooters, but they still find it in their heart to be able to forgive the person who shot and killed their friend. But it starts with forgiving and then loving. And he said they want to start an example of just showing love to each other in the community and then talking to the youth they see. If they see someone walking around with a gun, just really trying to engage with them and to stir them in a different direction, show them that there's a better way.
Some powerful words, Tia, from the owner of that barbershop, a powerful take on all of this. We'll hear from him starting live at 4. And of course, the way he's trying to help and the money he's trying to raise to help other people as the city continues to battle this. So Tia, thank you very much for being here with us in the 13 Now studio.
Great, thank you.
Let's get you updated on a situation in Rensselaer County. This is in Stephentown, where we covered this yesterday. A dam collapsed, a beaver dam collapsed. And we have some new details on just how much water this caused rushing into that road. This is Garfield Road, County Route 26. We showed you these pictures last night on Live at 6, and we learned that this home is owned by a Stephentown volunteer fire police lieutenant. We learned that it was a 44-acre pond where this beaver dam broke, dropping 6 feet, causing more than 83 million gallons of water to rush down the mountainside. Dan Levy is in Stephentown right now as they're working still to fix this road, reopen it. It did reopen, we are told, for emergency vehicles, but that is it. So Dan will join us with an update on this situation in Stephentown starting live at 4. Now to a 13 investigates piece when a lack of cell service becomes dangerous. We know it has been an issue in parts of the capital region, and my colleague Stella Porter has been looking into this further as we had that very unfortunate case not too long ago regarding Kaylin Gillis, Stella, and how cell service played an issue with that. It just got the conversation going.
It did, Sabrina. And I think for anybody, whether you live in a big city or a small town, there are those spots where you're just not going to be able to make a cell phone call. Let's say if something bad was happening and you were in danger. So for one community and for many communities in Warren County in the North Country, that's the reality every single day. And while broadband infrastructure has greatly improved their ability to connect with the outside world, Wi-Fi calling isn't always possible, especially when there's a storm and the power and the broadband goes out, or if you have a medical condition and let's say the device that you use to monitor your heart relies on cell signal. So that's exactly the scenario that one family is in. And we spoke to them about what it's like living with this medical condition in an area where this woman's heart monitor can't function properly. So I want to show you what she says about living like that.
I have Sarah and I have my son. And without them, I might as well be dead.
Yeah, some really powerful words there. And our interview was pretty emotional with this woman, Lorraine Baker, and her daughter-in-law who helps take care of her. And just hearing what they go through on a daily basis and how Kaylin Gillis's case really resonated with them because they know that it could happen to any one of their community members.
The argument against this, Stella, for years has been just to not rattle the beauty of the Adirondacks, right, by putting up more cell towers. But now, we have seen in the past, once again, that it can be a safety concern, a safety issue, potentially deadly in rare cases. So what is the argument against that? And what is the remedy? I know you've been reaching out to lawmakers. You've been reaching out to the, I believe it's the Adirondack Council, is it?
The park agency from New York State that oversees those regulations. And absolutely, we love the natural beauty of the Adirondacks, and where the Bakers live is part of the Adirondack Park. But at the same time, you have to balance, the need for what our state senator, Dan Steck, who covers that area, he says it's a modern day right, that cell coverage is no longer just a luxury. So he's someone who's been on the front lines fighting for more funding, for decreased regulations to try to solve that issue there.
Stella Porter, you've been working on this, I know, for weeks, trying to get the updated information for everyone. And we're looking forward to seeing your in-depth pieces starting live at 4. We'll have a conversation with you, and then we'll see more of these interviews at 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock. Stella, thank you very much. That's your 13 Now update on this Tuesday afternoon. Again, we do have those severe thunderstorm warnings coming in. So if any more warnings pop up, you heard Paul say he'll bring you those updates, and we'll bring it to you on air on News Channel 13. We will see you live at 4.